Cut. This is The Cut. The Cut Podcast with Pete Ferguson. Film, music, games, entertainment. This is The Cut from Telegraph Talk.
Hello you and welcome back to The Cut, the Telegraph's weekly entertainment podcast. This week, Gabriella Cilmi chats to us about her new album 10. Claudine Beaumont looks at new mobile technology. Ex-KLF member Bill Drummond chats to us about his involvement in the Haiti earthquake fundraiser at the Roundhouse in Camden. And Tim Robey reveals that this week is a bit of a duff week for movie releases.
This is The Cut.
But first, Victoria Hart was working as a singing waitress in London when she was discovered by none other than George Clooney. A few years down the line, she's still singing and touring, and we caught up with Victoria to find out her 3 favourite ever songs.
Hello, beautiful people. I am Victoria Hart. You may know me because I was the singing waitress who sung for George Clooney a few years ago. But, you know, we're on to bigger and better things now. I'm now embarking in my new project to put together a superhero 18-piece all-girl big band. So if you feel like you got what it takes, give me a call. But I am going to show you my 3 favourite songs of the moment. I wouldn't say all time because that's a hard one to find, but at the moment, and here they are. I hope you like them. My first one is called Call the Law, and it's Outkast song from Idlewild album. And I friggin' love Outkast. And when people say, who's your dream person to do a duet with? And they expect me to say someone obvious like Michael Bublé, who's Andre 3000 all the way. And this is one of their songs with a 40s feel, which is my kind of thing. So I hope you like it.
Not that type of guy.
Doing the crazy job I do, I have to wake up at some interesting hours of the morning, and I wouldn't say that I'm the best morning person, but have my ways to get through it, and I know we all do, and this is one of them. And I play this song as loud as I can, and my poor neighbours at 3 o'clock in the morning having to listen to this. But this song, we all know it, yes, is Everybody Dance Now by CNC Music Factory.
Here is the goal. Back with the bass, pajamas live in effect, and I don't waste time. On the mic with a dope rhyme, jump to the rhythm, jump to the rhythm, jump. And I'm here to combine beats and lyrics to make you shake your pants, take a chance. Come on and dance, guys, grab a girl, don't wait, make a twirl. It's your world and I'm just a squirrel, trying to get a nut to move your butt to the dance floor. So yo, what's up? Hands in the air, come on, say yeah. Everybody over here, everybody over there. The crowd is live and I will do this too. Party people in the house, move. Let's do right. Move. Watch me all night. Come on, let's move. Baby, let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you.
So my third song is one to mix it up a bit. I really wanted to get all of the crazy genres in, and this song's showing my romantic side, because I actually think that this song is the most cutest and romantic song in the whole entire universe. This is Toothpaste Kisses by the McAfees.
Cradle me, I'll cradle you, I'll win your heart with a woo-woo, pulling shapes just for your eyes. So with toothpaste kisses and lines, I'll be yours and you'll be, lay with me.
Oh, thanks everyone for listening. I am Victoria Hart, and those are my 3 favourite tracks.
The Cut on Twitter, Facebook and telegraph.co.uk/The Cut.
Still to come, we talk to Gabriella Cilmi about her new album 10 and Tim Robey on this week's films. Now though, it's time to talk to Claudine Beaumont, one half of the Telegraph's Gadget Inspectors. So, Claudine, you're recently back from the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. What is that anyway?
Yeah,
it sounds very techy.
It's not a very sexy name, is it? Good old Mobile World Congress. It's basically the annual tech jamboree for the mobile phone industry. So everybody from your mobile operators to your handset makers to everybody in between is there showing off their wares.
I believe we had the world's cheapest mobile phone.
We did, yeah. We had a $15 mobile phone from Vodafone, designed, as most of the things actually at the show were, some of the new services and products that they were showing off, designed for developing nations and emerging economies, where obviously for most people the first contact that they ever have with the internet is through a mobile device, and where banking systems and things like that aren't really in place and certainly aren't available in rural areas. The mobile phone is a crucial lifeline for people to do business and transactions.
What are some of the other highlights from the show?
Well, probably the biggest announcement at the show this year was the launch of Windows Phone, which is...
Because Windows have been involved in mobiles before, haven't they? It's getting very confusing.
It is. It's complicated. So here's what you've got to think. The last terrible Microsoft operating system for mobile phones was Windows 6.5. Microsoft are basically trying to make us forget that ever happened. So they've decided to start calling their operating system for mobile phones Windows Phone, and this is part of the Windows Phone 7 series. So ignore the name, it's not really relevant. All you need to know is that Windows phones have just become insanely cool. Love it.
How does it compare to Android, for example?
Well, it's actually a much nicer looking operating system. It's beautiful. It's like it's been designed by a graphic designer. There's these huge kind of overlarge menus which sort of bleed off the side of the screen, which, you know, you could think are irritating, but actually just gives it a really nice look and feel. Very, very intuitive user interface, quick access to all the bits and pieces that you want, and it's designed for the kind of the social generation, people who want to pull all of their Flickr and Twitter and Facebook streams into a single sort of point of contact. It's very elegantly designed.
It's good to see Microsoft in general starting to get their act together.
Yeah, it's got its mojo back, old Microsoft.
Good old Microsoft. What are the general trends then for the next year? Are phones getting bigger, smarter, dumber, smaller?
Well, one of the really bizarre trends that I wasn't expecting this year is phones getting smaller and then adding a QWERTY keyboard to it. So,
such as their HTC Mini?
HTC Mini, exactly right. So really lovely phone based on a really lovely device. They just miniaturised it to the size of a credit card and whacked a QWERTY keyboard on it, which sounds like it should be absolutely rubbish, but it's actually a really, really nice device, and they've changed the kind of the look and the feel and the interface of it to make it more suitable for a smaller format.
Where can mobile phones go from here, because they already do everything?
Difficult, isn't it? I think we've reached a bit of a plateau for the moment. I think we can only have screens that are a certain size. Memory is only worthwhile going up to a certain point. Processors are an area where people are beginning to innovate a bit more, the faster the better. But I feel we've reached a bit of a plateau in terms of the capability of phones. It's going to take a while for us to move on to the next evolution.
But we probably thought that before the iPhone was launched.
Oh, we did, didn't we? So who knows what the next 12 months could hold.
Any sign of a new iPhone at all? Any hints, rumours, anything?
Yeah, plenty of rumours that we're going to be seeing iPhone 4 this coming summer. Obviously, Apple holds their annual WWDC, Worldwide Developers Conference, in San Francisco every sort of June time. And that's a perfect opportunity for them to unveil iPhone 4.0, as in the operating system. So it would probably make sense for them to bring out some new hardware at the time as well. So we're looking around June, July for announcement, probably September time for a new handset on the market.
I don't know how you remember all these model numbers and serial numbers. I can barely remember my own name.
Some of us have got it, some of us haven't, Pete. But
there
what
we
can
go.
I say?
On that bombshell. See you next time.
The Cut from Telegraph.co.uk.
And that was Claudine Beaumont. You can email your thoughts for future mobile tech to thecut@telegraph.co.uk. And keep up to date with the latest gadget news and reviews online at telegraph.co.uk/thecut. Now though, Telegraph film critic Tim Robey. Okay, Tim, let's start off then with From Paris with Love, rated 15, starring John Travolta as a special agent. So, isn't this just From Russia with Love, but with a different location?
Yeah, it sort of thinks it is. This is a Luc Besson-produced film, and they get Travolta to come over. He's kind of skin-headed, he's got a silly goatee and a massive earring, and he's wearing leather. He basically looks like he's stepped out of some bar in the West Village. And he's paired with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, who I find like quite a mannequin-like actor at the best of times. He's quite hard to warm to. It's crazy and chaotic and very loud and very stupid and quite obnoxious, actually. There's just nothing about the film that you particularly like or kind of warm to.
Oh dear. Does he dance, at least?
No, but he does order a Royale with cheese twice.
Royale with cheese?
Yeah, so he's rolling out the Pulp Fiction gags there. You know,
Right.
he likes his Royales with cheese.
And that was one of the highlights of the film, which says it all, really.
It does say it all. yeah.
Okay, can you give us a score for that?
I think it's a 1, really.
A 1?
Yeah.
Ouch, Tim, off to a bad
Sorry.
start.
It's not a good week, I have to warn you.
All right, okay, let's try Extraordinary Measures, Harrison Ford rated PG.
So the thing I don't really understand here is why they've made this film, which is basically a disease of the week movie. Harrison Ford and Brendan Fraser this time team up to find a cure for a rare form of muscular dystrophy.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, which is affecting Brendan Fraser's 2 kids. So Harrison Ford is this brilliant, wayward scientist who comes on board to try and find the enzyme to cure, well, not to cure it, I should say, but to keep the disease in like abeyance so that Brendan Fraser's children will survive. Produced by CBS TV, it's their first film, but it's such a TV movie, and it's so sappy, it's just milky and kind of like there's nothing to it really. It's very predictable. Apparently the character Harrison Ford is playing in real life was some cranky Chinese guy, so quite why they've cast it is hard to see as well.
I would have loved to have been on the pitch for that film.
Yeah, it's odd. It hasn't really worked out for them in the States. It's not done well.
Can we make a comparison to Lorenzo's Oil?
It's very much like Lorenzo's Oil. That's exactly the comparison, yeah.
But nowhere near as good.
But nowhere near as good and nowhere near kind of getting an Oscar nomination for Susan Sarandon like that did, you know.
Which means you are scoring it?
It's sort of 1.5. I'll be as generous as possible. 1.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone got out the wrong side of the
I
bed
did,
this
I'm
morning.
sorry, yeah.
Okay, let's try The Crazies then, rated 15, a zombie movie.
Well, it sort of looks like a zombie movie and it plays like a zombie movie. It's slightly different in that these zombies are not actually cannibals, they're just psychopaths. What happens is a plane crashes in some small Midwestern town and it's carrying a biological weapon, which turns everyone into homicidal psychos, basically. The military have to be kind of flown in to sort it out, and it's unclear whether people are defending themselves or whether they've gone psycho. Quite a lot of good,
which is quite interesting,
ambiguous scenes like that, and it sort of wants to be a bit of an allegory. It's like the crazies are sort of terrorists and Americans are going crazy, kind of trying to fight them off. And the problem is it does feel really generic. It feels a bit like things like The Carriers and 28 Weeks Later. It has the same feel to all of those, and the characters aren't very well developed. Sort of a nice idea that they've slightly bungled, I think.
Surprise, surprise, it's in Iowa as well. Films like this are always in Iowa.
They're always in Iowa. The cornfields get blazed. Yeah, it's definitely using Iowa for its maximum flat blandness.
Okay. What's your score for The Crazies?
I think it's 2. You know, it's not as bad as those other 2, but it's disappointing.
All right. Well, I suppose that would mean that your film of the week then,
by default,
with a record-breaking 2.
There've got to be some good films next week, please. We're in that kind of like lull.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. We've just come back from Berlin Film Festival.
Yeah, I saw loads of good stuff there. So there's loads of good stuff on the way.
Goodness.
Yeah, I really enjoyed The Ghost, which is Roman Polanski's new film, which is based on the Robert Harris thriller. There's an animation from the guy who did Belleville Rendezvous. It's called The Illusionist, and it's set mainly in Edinburgh. It's about this old magician who kind of goes to Edinburgh and befriends this young girl. And it's beautifully, beautifully drawn. It's sort of a fantastic traditional animation. I love that. And I also really like The Kids Are All Right, which we're definitely going to be hearing more about. It will become, I think, a bit of an awards contender for next year.
Well, I suppose the good thing is, though, when you've got the BAFTAs on, it sort of reminds you of all the big films that you may have missed throughout the year. So there might be a pile of cack in the cinema right now, but you can always go get some DVDs.
Yeah, I can just only beg people to go, now is your moment, go and see The Hurt Locker. It's just won 6 BAFTAs. I think it will win quite a few Oscars. It's definitely one of the films of the year, and it still hasn't been seen by nearly enough people.
Did you like District 9, by the way?
I liked it, but The Hurt Locker is the one I really, really like.
Brilliant. That's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Tim, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Telegraph.co.uk/The Cut.
Following the devastating earthquake in Haiti, former KLF member Bill Drummond spoke to The Cut this week about his involvement in the charity fundraiser at the Roundhouse in Camden.
I was in Port-au-Prince the week before Christmas. Within less than 3 weeks after my return to the UK, the earthquake happened. When I heard about the earthquake, I was numb for the first few days. But when I got asked to be a patron of the large fundraising concert at the Roundhouse in London, I felt that I had to involve myself. I'll be on stage for 10 minutes or less. In that time, I will tell the audience about the time we spent in Port-au-Prince, about the energy of the city, about the creativity of the people, a creative force that exudes from everything they do.
You donate a lot to charity with regards to money and time, but when you were part of KLF, you also famously set fire to £1 million in notes. Do you now regret that, and do you wish you'd now donated that money to a charity or cause such as this?
As for the burning of £1 million, myself and fellow trustee of the K Foundation, Jimmy Cauty, made a pact not to talk about the burning for a period of 23 years. As for regret, it depends on which way the wind is blowing.
If you can't make it to the event on Thursday, which also includes yourself, Bombay Bicycle Club, the Future Heads, Katie Tunstall, Mr. Hudson and Paul Weller, how else can you support the cause?
I suggest you decide what worthwhile talent you may have that can be put to a good use in a developing country and donate a year of your life to it.
Bill Drummond, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The Cut. Thursdays from The Telegraph.
Sweet about me, nothing sweet about me. Yeah.
In 2008, Gabriella Cilmi released her album Lessons Be Learned, which features, amongst many other hits, Sweet About Me. 2 years later, the new album 10 is due for release, and earlier in the week she spoke to The Telegraph's Clive Morgan.
So we're here to talk about your new single, which is called On a Mission. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, On a Mission, I like to think of it as a kind of I Will Survive track for the 21st century. It's got a bit of a disco kind of thing going on in the pre-chorus and these cool kind of 80s Prince synths going on. All my favourite artists have always, changed and have tried different things. So, yeah, I knew that I wanted to try something, kind of make a record that I'd like to hear if I was going out, if I was on a dance floor, what I'd like to hear.
You're now about to release your second album as well, which is called?
It's called 10. It's a departure from my first. It's kind of me, being inspired by all those kind of disco divas, Amy Stewart, Gloria Gaynor, Donna Summer, when one of my bandmates gave me this Donna Summer record, 4 Seasons of Love, and it kind of changed the whole direction of my record. I kind of, it was inspired by all, especially her vocals. She was had these really angelic, kind of sexy, ethereal sounding vocals, and I tried to, I used her as inspiration on the record. So it's me experimenting and trying a lot of different things as well. I love a bit of everything, but Led Zeppelin's my favourite band in the world. And I got to meet Robert Plant last year. It was the most craziest thing in the world. I get really starstruck and I always say silly things when I meet people that I love. So we were backstage in the cafeteria of the O2 Arena. We played this gig for Nordoff Robbins, a music therapy gig. Everyone was getting their plates of food to eat and I saw him. So I'm like, I have to go up and talk to him. So I tapped him on his back and I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I had this whole speech planned out in my head and I ended up asking him, are you going to eat the salmon or the pie? And I just remember being totally humiliated after. I'm like, what have I done? I had this whole speech because Houses of the Holy is my favourite record. I've been hiding away for like a year writing this record, putting my heart and soul into that. So what is next? I'm going to release my single on, I think it's March 8th, and my album 10 is coming out this year. I really want to play a sold out tour and I'd love to play a show at the Royal Albert Hall. That would be my dream.
Whatever it takes, I will do what I gotta do.
And that was Gabriella Cilmi talking to Clive Morgan. Watch that interview in full and keep an eye out for an exclusive live session with Gabriella at telegraph.co.uk/The Cut. But that's your entertainment fix for this week. Follow us on twitter.com/The Cut Podcast, as well as Facebook, where you simply do a search for The Cut Podcast from the Daily Telegraph. You can also subscribe to The Cut via iTunes or simply head to telegraph.co.uk/The Cut. Thanks always for listening. I'm Pete Ferguson, and that was The Cut.